There is a hill in southern Turkey that should not exist. Or rather, the thing buried inside it should not. About 11,500 years ago, on that wind-swept ridge, a group of people did something that, by every rule we thought we understood, was flatly impossible. With no metal, no farms, no cities, with nothing but flint, rope, and muscle, they cut giant pillars of limestone from the bedrock, some weighing as much as 20 tons, carved them with foxes and vultures and scorpions, and raised them in great stone rings. Here's the part that breaks your brain. These people had not invented the village yet. They had not planted a single field of grain. And yet, before they ever built themselves a permanent home, they built a home for their gods. The archaeologist who found it said it in 5 words. First came the temple, then the city, which flips the entire story of civilization upside down. Maybe we didn't invent religion once we were civilized. Maybe we became civilized because of religion. This is the story of the gods, where they came from, why every human society that has ever existed has made them, and why the answer might be the hidden reason your own world, its cities, its laws, the trust you place in a stranger you'll never see again, holds together at all.
For 9 episodes, we've built civilization piece by piece. Fire, farming, towns, cities, writing, metal, money, kings, law. And if you look closely, one thing sits underneath all of them: the temple. In the first cities, the temple was the biggest building, the priest came before the king, and the god owned the land. Will Durant saw religion as one of the deepest forces in all of history, something no civilization has ever been without. So we have to ask the question anthropologists have chased for centuries. Not which god is real. The stranger, more universal question: why do humans, in every corner of the earth, with no contact between them, all invent gods in the first place? There are 3 great answers. And they might all be right.
The first answer is the darkest, and maybe the oldest. Fear. Think about what our ancestors faced. Every night they slept, and in sleep their minds went somewhere. They walked with the dead, they visited far places, and then they woke, back in a body that had never moved. What is that thing that leaves the body and comes back? And then the ultimate terror: death. A person is here, talking, warm, alive, and then, without visible cause, they are a cold, still object. Where did the person go? The 19th century thinker Edward Tyler argued that from these 2 mysteries, the dream and the corpse, early humans reached the same conclusion, that inside each of us is a second thing, a soul, that can leave the body in sleep and departs forever in death. And once you believe in one invisible spirit, the world fills with them. In the storm, the river, the mountain, the dead ancestor who might still be watching. The Roman poet Lucretius put it bluntly: fear was the first thing that made gods in the world.
But fear isn't the whole story, because religion doesn't only make people cower, it makes them soar. And that's the second answer: awe. Stand a human being under a night sky blazing with 10,000 stars, or at the foot of a mountain, or beside a raging sea, and something happens that has nothing to do with survival, a feeling of the vast, the holy, the overwhelming. The scholar Rudolf Otto called it the numinous, the sense of standing before something wholly other, that terrifies and enthralls you at once. Maybe the gods weren't only born from what we feared in the dark. Maybe they were also born from what took our breath away.
But there's a third answer, and it may be the most powerful of the 3, because it explains not just why individuals believe, but why societies can't seem to live without it. Religion as social glue. The great sociologist Emil Durkheim argued that, when a tribe gathers to worship its god, what it is really doing, without knowing it, is worshiping itself, its own unity, its rules, its shared life. The sacred is how a society makes itself feel bigger and more permanent than any of the mortals inside it.
And here's where it connects to everything we've built in this series. Remember the problem of the first cities? How do you get thousands of strangers who will never know each other to cooperate and not cheat? The psychologist Ara Norenzayan calls the solution the big God. A small tribe doesn't need a watching deity. Everyone already knows everyone, and the cheat gets caught. But scale up to a city of strangers, and cheating becomes easy and invisible. Unless people believe that someone is always watching. A great God who sees every deed, knows every heart, and punishes the liar even when no human catches him. Believe that, and a stranger becomes trustworthy because he fears the eye in the sky. Norenzayan's argument is that these watching, moralizing gods were the invisible technology that let human societies explode from bands of dozens into cities of thousands. And now look back at the last 2 episodes. Why did the first laws work? Why did the first kings command? Because behind the king stood a god, and behind the law stood the same God. Hammurabi didn't just decree his code, he carved himself, receiving it from the divine. The gods were the ultimate authority that even a king had to kneel to. So which is it? Fear, awe, or social glue? Almost certainly all 3, braided into one flame.
And that returns us to those hunter-gatherers on the ridge, hauling their 20-ton stones under the stars. For a long time, we assumed religion was a late luxury, that first you get farms and surplus and cities, and then, with time to spare, you build temples. Göbekli Tepe suggests it may have happened the other way around, that the longing to gather, to worship, to stand together before something greater, may have been one of the very forces that pulled scattered wanderers into one place, kept them there, and, to feed the crowds who came to build and to pray, nudged them toward farming and settlement and everything that followed. Now, that temple-first idea is debated, and the picture keeps shifting. But even the possibility should change how you see our species. We are not just the animal that makes tools, or grows food, or builds cities. We are the animal that looks up. The one creature that, before it had secured its next meal, would spend years dragging stone across a hilltop for something it could not see, touch, or eat. Every element we've built in this series, the fire, the field, the city, the word, the coin, the crown, the law, all of it grew up around that strange, invisible center. And here's the part that should follow you out of this video. Whether or not you believe in any of it, you are living inside what that impulse built. The city you walk through, the law you obey, the trust you hand a stranger you'll never meet again, all of it was first rehearsed in front of an altar. And now, finally, we have all the pieces. It's time to watch them fuse into the first real civilization on Earth.
Next time on Civilization OS. We've spent 10 episodes forging the ingredients of civilization, one by one. Now we meet the people who put them all together first, in the hot, flat, riverine land between the Tigris and the Euphrates. They invented the city, the school, the law, the wheel, the written word. They gave us the 60-minute hour and the first works of literature. And then, almost entirely, the world forgot them. Next, the Sumerians, the people who invented the future.